I had never even heard of using mullein root.
Most of us are familiar with mullein. It's mostly known for thinning mucus in the lungs and helping to get the mucus out of the lungs. The flowers are mostly known as an earache remedy, but what about the root? And I had my husband dig this up, and it kind of dried up until I could get to it, which was okay. The root is known as a bladder tonic, which as we get older, we really might kind of need that, and as a backache remedy. Now, I've actually never done the root before, so let's see how tough this thing is.
Herbalist Michael Moore, who introduced it as a remedy for treating urinary incontinence or loss of urinary control, he suggests that it tones and strengthens the trigon sphincter at the base of the bladder. Mullein root increases the volume of urination while decreasing the frequency of urination. The mullein root is even more effective when combined with other bladder astringents such as agrimony, horsetail yarrow, or staghorn sumac leaves, stems, and berries. Astringents are herbs or even chemical medicines that tighten or tone tissues. Mullein is an especially effective astringent for the bladder because it also is a demulcent herb and is also an anti-inflammatory. Demulcent herbs soothe irritated tissues. Harvested mullein root.
It's kind of in two stages. It comes out like in late summer, early fall, and it'll just kind of be a rosette, and that's considered the first year's growth. And this is when you have to get the root once it's gone dormant in the winter, and that's when you dig up the root. Now, once spring comes and it starts growing and it puts up the stalk, it's too late. You have to do it when it's in its first year. Okay.
In the first year, it forms its large leaves with a rosette in the center, and it just seems to come up from nowhere. In the wintertime, it easily survives the cold, even snow, while it goes dormant, and the leaves will stay green. And you want to harvest the roots after it goes dormant in the winter or the early spring. Second year, it will start growing a stalk with those valuable yellow flowers. It may even branch out. Now, then it's too late to dig up the root once it starts growing new leaves and growing a stalk.
Okay, I really didn't have much of this. Normally I really have a lot of mullein growing, and for some reason this year I didn't have much.
Usually it is just coming up everywhere.
So I'm just going to put this in this small jar. I've chopped it up the best I could. So you see, I don't have much, but you don't have to make these big quart jars of herb remedies. You can just make a small amount. And I haven't tried this before, so I don't want to put a lot of time and effort into it till I actually see how it works for me. Okay, so now I'm going to add some vodka. This is just the folk method. And I just want to use probably twice as much vodka as I have to my herb. So let's do that like that. I'm going to shake it up really good. Now I'm going to let this set on my cabinet for at least 2 weeks, maybe 4, maybe 6. But I'm going to come back and check this because since I've not done this before, I don't know how well it will absorb the vodka and how well it will expand. So I'm going to come back and make sure that the herb is staying, there's more vodka than what there is herb. I don't want any herb floating to the top.
Yeah, if I had used the fresh mullein root, I would have used equal amounts of chopped root and vodka. And then you want to strain it. Now, I really like using the Magical Butter filter press, but just use whatever you happen to have. Now, I will leave a link in the description for a 10% discount on this Magical Butter filter press. Now, afterwards, you want to bottle it in a dark colored bottle or at least store it in a dark, cool place. Now, my tincture only made about 1 ounce, and you need to take 2 to 4 meals 3 times a day. Now, there are 5 meals in a teaspoon. Now you may need to take this at least 2 weeks to notice a difference, maybe even longer. And you could have certainly have made a tea and drank 3 cups of tea a day. And mullein root is safe to take long term. Now the leaf is harvested any time throughout the year, but before the flowers begin. Flowers are harvested when they're in bloom. The root is harvested in the winter of its first year or the spring of its second year. And you might be an herbalist if you're digging up your mullein root. Like, subscribe, and share so you do not miss upcoming videos about mullein root for back pain and skeletal alignment.